guys, super excited to be here today. It is Stand Firm here with Eden today. I have Matt, who is one of my classmates, and I wanted to bring him on to an interview here today because I feel like you're a very interesting person. We have a lot to talk about. So I'm super excited to have him on today. Matt, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit, where you're from, kind of what you're doing here?
Yeah, I mean, besides being interesting, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but
yeah, it is.
I'm just Matt Huertas from Boynton Beach, Florida, born and raised, short story, like played sports my entire life, college as well.
Yeah.
And now I'm in medical school with her. I don't know. Pretty fun, but
I thought you were super white when I met you, and I had no idea that you were Cuban.
well, because I was white as hell.
Yeah.
I had no color because I was from like North Carolina, Maryland, so I didn't see the fucking sun.
Oh, wait, is that where you... Wait, I thought you went there for high school.
Yeah, but then also I told you I lived like 6 different places.
This is true. We're going to get into that.
She has ADHD, guys.
I do have ADHD.
I know.
Speaking of, I need a new prescription.
And short-term memory loss.
You know, that's not true.
Okay. Yeah.
He's just trying to discredit me. But speaking of sports, what sport did you play? How old were you when you started?
In college or just in general?
In general.
I played like honestly any sport you can think of.
Yeah.
Well, at least that I can think of.
Were you good at any of them though?
I was good at baseball, but I hated it. It was too boring for me.
But it's a Florida thing, right?
Yeah, like everyone plays baseball in Florida.
That's
it's
so
like kind of it's like football, soccer, and baseball are like the big sports, and like I grew up playing all those. And
interesting.
Then it kind of like tapered down, and then I only played like football and lacrosse, and then strictly college was just like basically lacrosse.
So what kind of got you interested in lacrosse? Because I know that that's like not a super common sport.
Yeah, like back then it wasn't common at all. Like,
is it more common now?
Yeah, it's kind of gotten bigger, but when I started, Florida was like just like everyone laughed at that state for like that sport.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
why?
Like, well, because like I think I told you about like like hockey, for example, ice hockey. Like you think of like Northeast Canada.
You don't think of Florida.
No, not at all. Like Florida, you think of baseball, soccer, football. Like Texas, you think of all the powerhouse schools for high school football. But like lacrosse was not really big. It was up and coming. It was just like more of a northeastern thing.
Okay, so lacrosse is northeastern.
A little bit California too. It was pretty big back there.
And I did not know that at all. I had no idea it was northeastern.
Yeah.
When you told me that, I was like, wait, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and then it slowly started trickling down. Well, like, it was at one time, I don't know the statistics about it or the research. They said it was like the fastest growing sport for like 10 years. I don't know. Like, don't quote me on that. But...
Well, like, we're going to make sure that you back up everything that you're saying with correct stats or you're fired.
No, yeah, but I liked it because it was a mix of like football, like soccer, and like ice hockey. I say like really fast pace.
Yeah.
Like hitting and stuff. And like there's the finesse aspect that ice hockey has too with soccer and stuff. It's not just full brute force like football,
Yeah.
So I kind of like that aspect because it's like you don't have to be like genetically gifted. It's kind of like golf. You could just bust your ass and get really good. Like I had people on my team who were just like tiny little shits, but they were the best, I'm just honest. Like they're like,
can you like body slam people in lacrosse? Like how does that work?
It's just like, you watch ice hockey?
Yeah, I've actually been to a hockey game.
It's the same hitting mechanics as that. It's
so
it's not tackling like football. You wrap your hands and tackle a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like shoulder to shoulder, stuff like that.
Can you knock people to the ground though?
Oh yeah.
What if they don't have the ball?
It depends, because it's like if the ball is on the ground, it's fair game. You know what I mean?
You could hit anybody if the ball's on the ground.
If they're within, I think it's like a 5 to 10 yard radius.
Because otherwise you could just target people and just body slam whoever you want.
Well, yeah, I say it's very accurate, like kind of rules wise to ice hockey. Like you can't just hit some random person who doesn't have the puck from like across the ice. But like if they're in the vicinity and like they're stuff like that, like it's pretty much stuff like that. Yeah.
So when did you start playing lacrosse?
I picked it up 8th grade.
Okay.
Which is pretty late.
Yeah, for being somebody who was a Division I athlete, I would say that's technically more late. So what kind of happened with high school? Because you mentioned that you moved, which most people, even when I heard that, I was like, you did what?
Like moving in high school?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I started 8th grade. It was like after I broke my arm. Like I broke my arm in 6th, 7th grade there, like in between.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, this one compound fracture, girl.
What did you do?
Well, interesting. I was skimboard. You know what skimboarding is?
Is that the same as like bodyboarding or boogie boarding?
Kind of. You know what surfing is?
Yeah.
So like skimboarding, you're like running into the wave. You're on the sand. Okay. You're running into a wave.
Oh, and you stand.
Yeah, you drop the board stand, and then you'd like.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were
it's
guys
big in California.
That. Yes. Yeah. Guys would do it last year. Yeah. In California, they would do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, Florida, especially in the summertime, there's no good waves for even surfing. So the only time in the summer is when there's a hurricane. So yeah, I went during a hurricane.
I'm sorry, you did what?
I went during a hurricane. Do I need to say that again?
Yeah, and also like reiterate the fact that you're in medical school.
Oh, I'm in medical school. Well, at the time I didn't know. I'm not that smart back then.
That's fair.
I still would have done it though now.
You get a little pass.
Yeah, thank you.
So how did that result in you breaking your arm?
Well, it's like 60-mile-an-hour winds, stuff like that. And let's just say the area where I was, the sand is like notorious for being like really hard, like concrete hard. It's weird. Okay. It's called Sebastian Inlet.
Okay.
Like where I am from is south, like an hour and a half, and it's a lot softer sand, like normal what you'd think sand would be.
Yeah.
But there, it's for some reason it's rock hard, and I ate shit, put my arm back to try to like catch my fall.
Oh, like this kind?
Yeah.
I did that snowboarding.
Yeah, that's the biggest mistake. You just gotta just fall. Don't try to catch yourself. It's natural instinct, but
did you just get like blown over?
Like by the wind?
Yeah.
Well, like I hit a wave and it was a pretty big wave, and then my board kind of like slipped a little bit, so one foot was on and then the wind took it. So then I fell and landed, and then my bones were sticking out.
My question is, who else was at this beach, Matt?
My sister.
Oh my gosh.
And my dad.
I was going to say, I wonder who else has the brains to go out to the beach in a hurricane.
Well, there's people kiteboarding.
What does that mean?
You know, do you never seen kiteboarders?
Is that the thing where it looks like they're on like a surfboard in the water and there's like a sail on it?
That's kite surfing, I think.
Okay, what's the difference?
Kiteboarding is like you have a big ass kite or sails. I forget the name of that one. Don't quote me on that, but
okay.
The one I'm talking about is like you're flying at a big ass kite, right?
Okay.
In the sky, obviously, and it's for like the bigger the kite, the less wind you need.
Yeah.
So like these people were just like had the tiniest kites because it's a hurricane. Yeah, but like it's so dangerous, especially like.
And you're in the water.
Yeah, you're like probably like 50, 100 yards out.
Is there lots of waves when there's hurricanes? I feel dumb asking that question, but like I've never been in a hurricane, so I wouldn't know.
Can the editor cut that one out?
Right? You're like, please remove due to stupid reasoning.
Yeah, it's just really, really rough, choppy and stuff like that, and a lot of rip currents. So like kite surfing and kiteboarding and stuff like that, and surfing are pretty dangerous. Not because of the waves, it's just because like you can get caught in anything and then drown.
Actually, speaking of, there's a football player that just drowned out in Florida.
What's his name?
He's I don't know his name. I want to say he's either I don't know if he's in the NFL, but he's either college or NFL, and he just drowned because he was out and he was just swimming in the water, and it was a rip current, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been like near one or in one before, and I've been able to get out of it, but I didn't realize that like they can drown a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I don't mess with those. You're supposed to, you're supposed to, you just don't mess with those.
That was wild. I did not realize that those would like drown you if you're an adult. As a kid, I'm like, okay, but I was surprised.
But like during hurricanes, that's like they're everywhere because it's so choppy, windy, like the seas are rough. So it's just natural. There's so many more. So like, yeah, but skimboarding, I'm on the beach basically. I'm just only like maybe like 20 feet in the water. So it's not as bad, but you know.
I love like your attempt to reason your way through trying to do this in a hurricane. Good job.
Yeah, I was 13.
You were in 7th grade?
It was in between 6th and 7th. It was summer after 6th grade.
When I was in 6th grade, I broke my arm, but my like is way worse because I was playing tag with like a bunch of kids on the playground, and there was this kid. I will never forget his name. If he ever sees this, I have to see his name. His name is Chase Graves. Okay, we were in
Chase Graves.
Yes, we were in 6th grade, Matt. We're like playing tag, and I want to show like I'm a badass, right? So you know, like the twisty slide.
Oh my god!
Just wait.
I know where this is going.
You do?
Yeah, just go.
Okay.
Keep
so like the twisty slide, you can like start going down, and I grabbed the side of the twisty slide, and I tried to like gangster jump out of the twisty slide to like show that I could jump over the ledge. But instead of making it over, my feet caught on the ledge, and so I spiraled down. Straight down into the ground, the concrete, and landed on my arm just like this and just broke it.
Was it just like a compound fracture like mine, or was it just a
I don't remember what kind of fracture. It was a fracture, but it hurt so bad, and I had to be in a cast for like a couple months, and I just remember feeling so dumb. I was like, I just did this and broke my arm trying to impress a boy. Lesson number 1 learned in my life that men are not worth it. But anyway,
great
that
point.
was a great little tangent there. But
at least you figured that out when you're in 6th grade, 7th grade. You said.
Yes, but I feel like I did not stop trying to impress men there. I haven't fully learned my lesson, but we're working on.
There's stories that I know that I will not share on this podcast.
We have to give it time. We have to give
maybe next time you have me on,
Digest.
we'll talk about all that.
Yeah. Got tea to slowly spill.
Yeah, you're gonna lose all your followers if you talk about that.
I know, right? Just gotta spill it all at once. No, you gotta make them wait, right?
Yeah.
So you broke your arm.
Yeah.
And then that was 7th grade, 7th, 8th grade. And then what?
Well, like I was playing baseball, like baseball, soccer, football, stuff, all like just as a kid, just play every sport. But like my dad was really good at baseball. He like played in college and like he was gonna go pro, but then he had bad knees and stuff. So he stopped that. And then it's not like he like forced me to play baseball or anything, but he just like it's what he loved. So like he's like, oh, I want to put like a mitt and ball in my kid's hand and like have him play ball, right? And I was like, when I have kids, I'm gonna have them play golf. I'm like, because I love golf, so I'm gonna have a golf club.
It's like the best sport to have your kid go pro at.
Yeah,
not a lot of people do it. There's like no physical risk involved, and you make a ton of money, and there's so many scholarships.
It's just the hardest sport I've ever played, hands down. Like
really?
Yeah, hands down.
Interesting.
Yeah, and most frustrating sport. So
yeah, I would agree. But I'm a good caddy. I'm not a very good golfer.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I have a lot of respect for those that are on the tours.
Yes.
Like, even just college, like it's pretty hard to be that good.
I say that Brooks is my husband in a different life.
I think you told me this other week, right?
Except on the last tour, he like was not looking the best.
You mean the last tournament?
Yeah, sorry, like, the last tour. The last tournament.
Yeah. Oh.
And I was like, dude, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, Jenna needs to get you in the gym.
He got married, that's what happened.
Oh my gosh, did you see that thing that he put on like Twitter about her?
I don't have social media.
Okay, sorry, I forgot that. Matt's like weird. He doesn't have any socials.
I only have Snapchat. That's it. I only have Snapchat, but I barely use it.
Okay, that's socials. I don't even have Snapchat.
Yeah, no, but everyone has Instagram and stuff. I don't like. You guys are like, oh, like I was like, what do you guys do this weekend? And you guys are like, oh, it was on my story. You didn't see? I was like, girl, I don't have Instagram. Like you, Alia, and everyone is always just like, it's on my story, man. Like, why don't you just look? I'm like, well, I don't have Instagram. I don't have it.
Yeah. Okay, fair. But he like was in an interview or something.
Yeah.
And the person was like, how's your relationship going? Like with Jenny, And he's like, it's never been better. Money solves everything. Whenever she's bothering me, I just Venmo her $1,000 and tell her to stop. And he goes, and she does.
Was this on air?
Yeah. And it was like, he's like, and she stops. And I'm like, that is amazing. I'm like, that is the energy I want. And of course, I like put that on my story or something. And people were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. You're so superficial. And I was like, no, that's not it at all. It's just kind of funny because like, I'm going to have my own money. Like, that's not the point. The point is just like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like higher level. I don't. It's really hard to explain.
That sounds like a very, very healthy relationship that will last forever.
Yeah. Why is that funny? Like they have a mutual respect for one another. He's like.
So if she ever just wants money, she'd just be a little pain in the ass.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure she has her own money because apparently she's a model, I think.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you put it in that perspective that you just did earlier, then it just sounds like gold digger status, but
it does. And I'm like, I feel like I'm not qualified to be a gold digger because I'm gonna make my own money.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying, like, if you just took out the names, you said this girl gives this guy shit and he gives her $1,000, and like, I would be like, oh, so what's gonna stop her from keep doing that?
That's good.
On purpose.
Because then I could do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's just like the masculine energy that I like.
I feel like I would. Hey, if someone gave me $1,000 every time I was bitching at them, I'd bitch at them a lot.
Like, would you do that to your wife?
No.
Oh. Okay. Moving on. Anyways. But yeah, I agree. Golf is really hard, but it's entertaining. I used to not watch it, but now I do because I think the people are like really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
she just watches it for Brooks, everyone.
Yeah, I do. And Ricky, because his outfits.
Oh, yeah, he just won finally.
He did.
Yeah, he choked the U.S. Open.
He was close, though.
Oh, yeah. I give him credit. He's been playing well, but
yeah,
I wanted him to win the U.S. Open so bad. I was like,
dude,
his first major, yeah.
It's the orange Puma outfit for me.
That gets you?
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Hey.
I do.
If I was on tour, I'd have Sunday pink outfit.
That's like such a John Daly move, though. You gotta like make it unique.
You're right.
I think you should
But John Daly's a boss, so
you should wear like a rainbow outfit. Really, just like show your support.
But I feel like that would. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. That's a little bit too taboo for now. We're gonna get into it though. Yeah. It's fine. Okay, so you're trying different sports, and then where was that transition to? Okay, I'm committing to lacrosse.
I can't say there's like a specific time, but because my neighbor, my best friend, he played like since he was, I think, like I want to say 4th grade. So he obviously had more experience than me.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, like, why don't you try this? Because it's the off season of baseball or whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I had to miss the full season of baseball because my arm. So it's like,
yeah, why not?
Whatever. So I was like, damn, that's kind of hard. I thought it'd be easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, what the fuck is lacrosse? Like,
yeah.
Because wait, what? I was like, this is a new sport or has this been around? He's like, no, it's been around. I was like, oh, okay. So
that's fair.
I was just playing with him, just bullshit, toss ball, stuff like that, just passing and stuff, like nothing, anything. And then like he's like, oh, why don't you just come like to our like little practices and stuff? I was like, okay, cool, why not? And then I met like a couple coaches here, yada yada yada. And then I just like realized it was pretty damn hard. I think I'm attracted to like when it comes to sports, like that's why I like golf so much, because it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's hard to master.
Yeah, so like ice hockey, I love playing because it's really hard to play.
Yeah,
like I find like sports that are really difficult to master just gives you more gratification and to put in more work
when you do master.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, lacrosse is easy. And then when they pick up a stick the first time, because you see, like, if you ever watch a game, it's like people are ambidextrous, right, left. Like, when I first picked it up, I couldn't even catch with my dominant hand.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I was playing college, it was just natural, both hands. Like,
why are they always twisting it?
It's just like without the ball, or just in general?
Both.
I think it's just bad habits. Because just like you want to always try new things, like when you're practicing on your own. So you're just like twiddling around and stuff, and it just becomes like I had a similar habit. I would like kind of.
Yeah, I'm like every time they're running, I just feel like they're twisting it, and I'm like, for what?
Yeah, it's just also just like comfort, I guess. It's kind of like just a little comfort thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I played that, just liked it a lot, and then I was like, I don't really like baseball anymore. And then I was like, my dad and parents were very supportive, obviously.
Were you scared, like, to tell your dad because baseball was like his dream?
No, I was just like, because I played every position besides, I think, like first base. And like catcher was my favorite because it's like you get the most action, you get to throw people out and stuff.
Yeah.
Pitcher is also fun, but I wasn't the best. Kind of had a bad shoulder.
Yeah.
But I hit a good amount of people. That was always the worst because it's like my coach wanted me to throw certain pitches. Yeah. I'm just fucking like 5th grade at that time.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't know.
I can't throw a slider right now, man. Can I just throw a fastball down the middle? He's like, no, I won't. I was like, dude, we're just like, we're not in the World Series right now. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So like I always hit these kids with like sliders or curveballs or sinkers, like, because I'm not good with it.
Yeah.
Because it's just when you're that,
you would literally pitch the ball and hit them.
Not on purpose. I would try to hit because like it just depends on the count. So you have like your catcher tell you like 3 inside or 3 right. So for 3 was like curveball for us.
Okay.
So curveball ended on the right side. So he's sitting here. I'd start it over here and curve it. That's what you're supposed to do. But I would just start here and not curve and hit the.
Ow.
Yeah, but
I would not want you to be my pitcher.
Yeah, so like I'd only hit people when I had to do those stupid pitches, but he's like always wanted me to do it, and I was like, dude, I'm just like in 5th grade. Just wait till I'm in high school.
Like, chill. Okay.
Yeah, so my favorite position is catcher, but like I don't know, outfield is so boring for me. You like might see the ball one time a game. So it's just like it was kind of boring. It was like a lot of stop and go. I mean, looking back, it's like obviously baseball is long-term sport. It's good pay, but like I didn't enjoy it that much. I knew I wouldn't be able to play it like throughout entire high school and college. Like maybe if I played other sports with it, but just to only play that, I feel like I would lose my mind. And like I like activity. I like to like be on the go. Like, you know me, like
you're very much like
I have crackhead energy.
See, I don't know how, see, you're like ADHD, but you're not, because you're always like wanting to do something, but whenever you do those things, you're like super focused.
Yeah.
Which is like the best of both worlds.
I have the biggest resting bitch face at the gym.
You
Yeah,
do.
very
I will
bad.
legit walk like right by him. He won't notice me. I'll wave to him, and I swear you'll like look
Yeah.
at me, and I'm like, "Hi," and you're
No.
just like,
Did I tell you when the last time I went, Cody?
Cody was
Yeah,
right there.
and I was actively looking for Cody and Alia, by the way, like, because they're always like, you always like walk by us, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
today's the
And then
day.
they think it's rude.
Yeah, today's the day where I'm gonna actually walk in and look for them.
Yeah.
I actively looked for them for like 5 minutes. Like, well, shit, I don't see them, and I just make a right, and 2 seconds later, I feel my backpack being pulled, and I was like, oh, that's Cody. Yeah. I walked right by him, and I was actively looking for him.
I don't understand. I wish I had like laser focus like that. I like struggle with that so much. I notice any and everybody in the gym.
I notice my surroundings.
Yeah.
But like, if you want me to like be like, oh, I know exactly who that person is right now. No, I just know like if someone's on my back right shoulder, like,
yeah,
I'm aware of that. Like,
yeah, like your spatial orientation.
Yeah, like I don't want anyone surprising jumping me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Besides Cody pulling my backpack that one time, but that's okay.
Fair. So you chose lacrosse by high school, but you moved states.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, Florida, like I said, wasn't a hotbed at all.
Yeah.
It's all northeast and stuff like that. And the biggest hotbed was Maryland. Mm-hmm. It was a league called the MIAA. So it's like a league for the high school. And that's like the number. It's been like the number. I don't know how it is now, but it's always competitive. And it's always like breeds like the best college athletes for lacrosse, at least.
Yeah.
So I was like, the coaches that, well, so that team that I like practiced for, I ended up playing with them for like a year or two. And then a couple of those coaches knew people because it's like people want to, that are like really good or in the sport, they want to grow the sport. So they'll go to like Florida, for example.
Yeah.
So some of those coaches like played in the big leagues, you know what I mean? Like D1 pro, and they wanted to spread the wings of the sport. So then they came to Florida, and so they have like people they know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So one of them like knew that high school I went to, Calvert, and he's like, hey, like, we can make it happen. Like, I can't promise you're gonna make the team or anything because they're really fucking good up there.
Well, and how is that not against like the recruiting laws?
Well, it's not because I just moved there.
Uh-huh.
He just was like telling me which schools to look at. Like, no, the schools never recruited me, is what I'm saying.
Weren't you like scared? Like you're moving to a whole nother state with no guarantees?
Yeah, basically. But like, he's like, you have, I don't know, the way he worded it, it's like, I see something in you. Like, you never seen, like, I see something in you that like I can't explain. He's like, you have a lot of passion, fire, and like, I can see your work ethic is off the charts. So he's like, that's all you need to go with. If you put in the work, like, I can see you making it.
Yeah.
And like, I'll tell the coach, like, hey, like, he's gonna try out for the team, but like, doesn't mean I'm making it, you know. He just like, if anything, it was like kind of put more pressure on me, because then I'm like, oh, now the head coach like knows who I am, and I have a radar on my back now. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah. So it was like, for me, I felt like it was a deterrent, like kind of hurt. But I don't know.
How old were you
when I moved?
Yeah.
I moved sophomore year, like after freshman year.
So you were 15, 16?
Uh-huh.
You were
16.
You were living on your own at 16.
My first year, my mom lived with me, and then she'd float in and back the next 2 years. But senior year, I was just straight by myself, basically.
So how do you feel like that kind of like impacted your like adolescence? I mean, I feel like that's like a really big jump to like living in an apartment by yourself. You're in a new state. Like obviously your mom's with you for a certain amount of time, but
yeah.
Do you feel like that forced you to grow up early? Like what was your mindset going into that? Like there's a lot of stress and pressure on you to like make a team. Like your parents are putting you out here. Like,
yeah.
How was that experience for you mentally?
It wasn't, believe it or not, it wasn't too bad at all. It wasn't easy, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just my personality. Like I'm okay with being alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think at a young age to have that trait or quality is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But also like some people thought I was fucking weird. Some people thought I was gonna be like a serial killer when I was growing up.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like obviously joking, but they're like you're just always to yourself.
Like you're like a loner.
Not really a loner, but I just mind my own business.
Yeah, you
and
do.
like I don't really butt in. Like, I'll talk to people and stuff, but I'm never gonna ask them personal questions. And if I do, and they say, "Hey, I don't want to answer them," I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I've totally picked on that up on that ever since I met you. You're very content with who you are.
Yeah.
And you are completely at peace being by yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I envied that a lot about you, like for a while. And like I'm in a much better space now mentally where I like totally empathize with feeling that way.
Yeah.
And it really does give off a vibe though of like low stress.
Yeah. Obviously everyone gets stressed.
Yeah.
Especially finals week.
Yeah. Well, you study for like 12 hours a day and you like crawl into a little shell. And then I'm like, is Matt okay? Is Matt alive?
Yeah. It just depends on the week.
This is true.
But everyone goes through ups and downs. But
no, it does. Yeah.
I'd say definitely take care of yourself physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And then have that as your number one priority.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. For us, med school, because it's very stressful.
Yeah.
At times. But like if you have that like backbone to just fall back on, you always be good. Like, because people in our class, side note, people in our class, like, you've seen it burnt out within like the first 2 months.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't like burn out, but I felt like senioritis a little bit the last 2 weeks, just because it was finals.
We kind of talked about how you went to Maryland, you're playing lacrosse. Where was kind of the point that you started to think about, I mean, maybe you had already at this point decided you wanted to play in college, but what was that process of trying to get scouted and kind of get looked at for colleges and offers and all that stuff?
That was a little different because I was kind of a late bloomer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the sense of like those kids there,
yeah,
they're already being looked at like 8th, 9th grade.
Oh yeah.
And most of them are already verbal committing by 9th grade.
That's insane.
Before they even step on their first like high school game.
That's wild.
So like, yeah. So for me, I got there sophomore year, ended up making the varsity team, which I didn't even think I was. But I think the only reason why I didn't have the finesse like everyone else did and the stick skills, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just like outworking everyone.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I don't know, I guess my coach, he never like told me directly, but I could kind of sense it. It was just like, we need someone like him as like an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, if this kid's like very coachable and is going to put in that much work, like how good can he be in just 1 year with the right advice? Because I had like where I was from, I had a couple good coaches in Florida, but like it's different. Like the speed of how they play in high school in like Maryland is the same as college, right? It's just the college athletes are bigger, stronger, faster,
for sure,
but like the same everything, same offense, defense, like everything. So it's basically like, kind of like a extra step, I guess, you know what I mean? So I kind of had like better guidance,
for sure.
Yeah, so I think that was 2 of the big reasons.
So where did you end up playing for college, and did you get a scholarship?
I played at a school in North Carolina called High Point. It was fairly new when I got there. But going back, because I didn't answer like the other one about the process. So like those kids are mostly committing by 9th grade already.
Yeah.
Some 10th, but like you don't sign till like senior year anyway. So a lot of people like will verbal commit to like North Carolina and then switch to Maryland.
Yeah.
But like usually verbal commit, you're just like 90%. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
So for me, obviously no one knew me sophomore year, and then played summer ball with my high school team.
Okay.
Played some like national tournaments and stuff, and then I guess like I got a little recognition, and then got like scouted, and then junior year like summer, I got same tournament stuff, different, not the same exact tournament, but the same exact style.
Yeah.
And then I had like coach from Georgetown call and basically offer me, and that was like my dream school. So I was like, fuck yeah. But then stuff happened. I'm not gonna get into it on the air, but like they had to wipe the entire coaching staff and wipe the entire recruiting class. So like I got wiped. Basically going into my senior year, I kind of got wiped. So obviously didn't have anywhere to go going to my senior year. So I was like,
how did that make you feel? Like, were you just like, what the heck do I do now?
I was very stressed. But then at the end of the day, I was just like, I have like 4 amazing coaches, like one who's like probably coaches. I think he's not around anymore. He passed away, rest in peace. But he's like one of the big wigs for like the Canadian teams. So he knows people, and then my head coach knows people. So I was like, why don't I just talk to them? Like, why don't I just go talk to them? Like, obviously they're going to help me out because I'm like playing for them and like they love me. So I was like, why not? So I remember talking to him like probably towards the end of the fall, right before our season started. Like, hey, like this happened. I don't have a place to play. Like, I want to play somewhere in college, or preferably D1. Like, I know I can make it and play at that level.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should have came to us sooner, man. So then he like made a couple calls, and then like he didn't tell me when the coaches would come to our games to watch me,
because it would psych you out.
It would psych me out a little bit, I feel. So I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just remember one time got a phone call after we got on the bus, and my coach is like, I have someone on the phone for you. I was like, is that my mom or something?
Yeah, like who wants to talk to me right now?
Who wants to talk to me? It's like 9 p.m. I was like, and then it was a coach.
It was a booty call, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Let me get that straight. Yeah.
Yeah, you were popular among the ladies.
Yeah. So
all those Maryland girls, What's her name? Jesse James West's girlfriend's from Maryland. They all are. You know Jesse James West?
No. I live under a rock.
This man is uneducated. It's fine. Continue.
Sorry.
She's just like she's like a well-known fitness model, and so is he. They're both from like Jersey, Maryland area.
Oh, see, exactly. That's why I don't know it.
Fair. Anyway, continue.
Where was I? Oh, so then basically was on the phone with him. I was like, oh, hey, I didn't know who I was talking to.
It was the coach.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, I saw you play. Like, liked what I saw. Like, would you be interested in like coming out to our school and I'll give you a tour, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah. So
yeah,
that's kind of how it went. And then, and then I went there for 2 years, and then I had like there's stuff that went on. Like I had a lot of injuries stuff, and then I was like, I want to do medical school, and like balancing pre-med.
Oh my gosh.
Being a D1 athlete, like a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, it's just like you only practice once a day. I was like, no, it's like practice for 3 hours, lift for an hour and a half, film for an hour, and then you do like conditioning for like conditioning and film is like another hour or so.
Yeah.
So it's like 6 hours a day.
And then you have pre-med studying, which I mean, I was studying probably 8 hours a day, like all my classes and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how you have time for anything.
Yeah. So like, and I wouldn't sleep that much. I think that's where I get it from. I don't sleep anymore. Yeah. So
you don't. You're so weird.
I know. So that's basically like the gist of it, basically.
Okay, cool. So would you say that like you have the perspective of, because I feel like your story is more of like you worked hard to get to where you are, and so do you feel like you have that mentality of if you work hard enough, like you can do anything you want? And did you apply that to med school?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, obviously some people have limitations, right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like general normal person, yeah, I think it's just basically hard work. And for me, like I was very ignorant the very first time I took the MCAT, because I took it
junior. Oh, you've taken it twice?
I took it 3 times. The first time I don't count though, because I was like a junior in college, so like when I came back home, I had no idea. I didn't even research what the MCAT was. I was like, oh, it's just probably like the SAT. So I was like, whatever.
Did you take it without studying?
Yes. And without taking a practice test. Walked into the thing. I didn't realize it was 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to the first question because it's a passage. I was like, well, this is like chemistry, which is my strong suit. Yeah. So I was like, and then the next passage was physics. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to retake.
What did you get on your first MCAT?
I voided it.
No, you didn't.
I fucking voided that shit. I don't think I think I would have got like a 490 or something.
I'm dying.
I didn't even like study for it.
So for those of you who don't know, the MCAT is pretty much like the entrance exam that you take if you want to get into medical school. That's kind of your baseline standardized testing. It's just like the LSAT for law school or the GRE for PA school. Yeah. It like the SATs and ACTs for college. So we all had to take it for med school. Some of us took it more than once. I only took it once, and I swear to you, after I took that test, I was like, I cannot take this again. Yeah. That was the most depressing point of my life. I feel like my dad made me quit my job. I sat up in an office and I studied for 8 hours a day in a room with no windows for like 3 months straight, and I still didn't even do that well. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're in now. Yes, that's true. So I kind of wanted to just kind of touch a little bit on what your practice schedule was like as an athlete, and some of the drills, because I think that they're like really applicable to life, and I think they're really funny, and it surprises me that like coaches allow some of this. So tell me a little bit about your practice schedule. Okay, so I liked my coach a lot, both on the field and off the field, but a lot of people didn't like him on the field because he was super like hardcore. Okay, what do you mean by hardcore? Like, he didn't take shit, which is how it should be. Yeah. If you want to coach a good team. Yeah. Especially that. But like,
I don't know. It's just like he was a hard ass on the field.
Yeah.
Off the field, you could talk to him about anything, which is what I really liked. It
Yeah.
was a good balance. Like you could be enemies on the field, but off the field, you set that aside, right?
Yeah.
So he was like really hard ass like that. I always thought he was like ex-military or something because he was always like that hard ass.
Yeah, my coaches would scare me.
Yeah. So basically, our fall was usually more practice because you're prepping. So practice was usually sometimes between like 5 to 8 in the morning.
3 hours.
Dependent on the time, because like we'd have conditioning in there too sometimes, like right after practice. So sometimes practice would be like from 5 to 7, then conditioning, just depended on the week. But usually it was like start at 5 or 6, one of those, and it's usually 2 to 3 hours of that. And then we'd go to class if you had class in the morning. If you didn't have class, then you go straight to lifting. But if you did have class, like I'd have class in the morning because pre-med stuff is always in the morning. I'd have to come right after class, lift, do extra conditioning stuff. So lifting was fine, honestly.
Yeah.
And then the conditioning, because it's fall, you got to do a lot of conditioning.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes it's like individual skill work with like whatever you're practicing with your coach, or group stuff. But on average, it's probably like, I would say 5 to 6 hours.
Oh my
of
gosh.
Stuff. Probably 5, more like along the lines of 5.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like bad. But just like some of the stuff we did, it was just so much like running. You know what I mean? It was like, I felt like obviously we had breaks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like a water break or something. But it just felt like it was just a different like high school. Like my coach, I told you how like the same like kind of offense and stuff. It kind of prepped you for college.
Yeah.
But it's just a different speed, different level. You go from like 50 to like high school to straight like 200. Like, it's crazy.
Well, and I told you, like, for us, it was like we had practice at 5 a.m., but like if you're not early, you're late, right? Like, so we'd have to be there at 4:45. Every minute anybody was late, it was every minute was a mile.
Yeah.
That you had to run. Like, I remember you telling me some penalties that you guys would have.
Yeah. So that was instilled in us even before we had practice, because the upperclassmen are like, don't, whatever you do, I don't care if you show up naked, don't fucking be a minute late.
Yeah.
Be here 10 to 15 minutes before we're supposed to start.
Yeah.
And like obviously like I understood. A lot of people understood.
You're like, I understood the assignment.
Thank you. A lot of people understood too, but it was like you always had those couple freshmen that just like want to be like, I'm only like 2 minutes late, man, right? But like the first one wasn't that bad. It's called punishment runs. So
it was a label. Like it was a punishment run.
It was called punishment runs. We called it punny runs, but same thing.
So what was it?
The first one wasn't that bad because I forget what it exactly was. Someone was just late for a couple minutes. But the thing is, our coach, he like the very first time we all met him in the locker room, he's like, I don't give a shit where you came from. Like, cause I went to his high school. We went to the same high school.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, I don't give a fuck. He went to Calvert. Looked right at me. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you're like, thanks.
He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you were the number one kid in the nation, number one recruit, like, that doesn't matter. You have to earn your spot, which is like what I kind of liked. So like having that mentality.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time someone was late, and I feel like most schools or like coaches are like they just have that one person run.
Yeah.
No, the entire team runs. Like,
yep. Yes.
And sometimes if the coach really wants to hate that person, the entire team besides the person,
besides them runs.
So the person that was late has to watch everyone run, and it just makes them feel like shit.
Yeah, but guess what? They'll never do it again.
Oh no, they don't. But then someone else will do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's just like punch runs. You just basically run. Like, it just depended. Like, we had a thing called deck of cards. That was one of them. That was probably I think that was our first one. That one wasn't bad because you just go through 2 full decks of cards. I think like different ones had different things. So like an ace was like full field sprint and back, and then like king or something, I forget exactly. Like it was mixed in between running and like push-ups and sit-ups and all that stuff, or hills. But like the first one wasn't bad. It's kind of just like, hey, like I'm not messing around. Like when I say don't be late. But then I remember the next one, it was so bad. It was just, there's this hill. So our field's like right here.
Yeah.
And over the fence, there's this hill that's just basically straight up. It's like straight up. I don't know how high it is. Probably like 60 feet or so. But it's just like a ski slope straight up.
Oh, no.
And I remember he sent us a text a night before,
Oh,
like
no.
7 or 8 p.m., like, because we'd go to bed at like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
He's like, no pads, no gear, only cleats and running shoes. Do not be late, 4:30. And I was like,
that is the worst text you could ever get.
yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you've been an athlete,
Yeah.
you know what that means. And that is the worst text you could ever get.
And it's worse because you can't sleep.
Oh, yeah, because you're just like anxious.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I going to have to do?
Yeah, because I remember him saying, like, like after the first one, because it wasn't a bad punch and run, but he just wanted to set an example. He's like, this is behind us. Like, let's cut the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, next one's going to suck ass. It was just straight running up that fucking hill. And I remember we had an upperclassman. Like, we always looked up to him.
Yeah.
And I remember one time he's like, in the middle of that, he's like, man, fuck this shit.
No.
I never heard him say that in my life. Like, I've never heard him.
He was just like, this is.
He was like, fuck this shit. Yeah. But like, a lot of people on our team would quit throughout the year.
Wow.
Because like, I don't know, it's kind of like a weeding out process, I guess.
Fair.
So like, I think my class, because I ended up quitting too, but it was for different reasons, like injuries and other stuff I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But my class started, I think, with 17 or 18, and I think the graduating class was the OGs, not transfers, was like 7.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, but like some people would quit mid punishment run, be like, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm not playing anymore." So, some people would quit mid practice.
That's insane. Well, tell me about Circle Box.
Oh, that I can't.
I know that's not the name, but it's so funny.
I can't believe I can't. It's like blanking for me. I can't remember the exact name, but it's just this drill, right? And
which I, by the way, cannot believe this is like a thing.
Oh, it's a thing, but I liked it, believe it or not. But it's just you're basically in this like 5x5, sometimes 10x10 yard box.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just a ground ball drill, right? So it's like it's usually 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, 3-on-3. The whole purpose is whoever gets the ground ball, so the coach will throw the ball, whoever gets it, because like ground balls are a big thing for lacrosse. It's like possession wise.
Yeah.
So whoever would get that would get a point. Their team would get a point, and we'd divide it up into teams, and then the losing team would have to like either run hills or something. Mm-hmm. But in that little box, there's no fucking rules.
Which, you can what does that actually mean?
No, like obviously, like no one's gonna just like snap your neck.
Here's no rules. What did they do?
So basically, there's lots of fighting in there.
Yeah,
that came about from it. Basically, like
you could get punched, and that's allowed.
Basically, I mean, my coach didn't really care. He was pretty chill. But like, obviously, if he blew when he blew the whistle, and you keep punching, you're gonna have to fucking run. Like only you're gonna have to fucking run. But like when you hear the whistle, he'll let you go at it for a little bit. But if you hear that whistle and you throw another punch, you're screwed.
Were guys on the team that had beef? Do you think like they would get into the box, or would your coach put them in the box on purpose?
Yes,
and do you think that would help them?
I don't know about help, but it would definitely cause some drama fighting and stuff like that.
Well, because I always wonder, like, we always joke around in society and we say, like, oh, like, boys just need to fight it out and then they're fine. Like, do you think that that's, like, real?
A little bit. I do say a little bit, yeah, but I'm not naming names, but there's people couple people, just a few, that I hated outside the field.
Yeah.
And on the field, you just put your differences aside. It's kind of like a job. Like, you can hate each other outside of, like, if we're in the operating room together and we hate each other, like, we can hate each other outside the operating room, but if we're in the operating room operating on someone, we have to be like best friends. Just put the difference aside, same goal, right?
Because the patient comes first. And we talked a little bit about that previously of like, what do you think were the biggest lessons that you take away from sports that you feel like have had an impact? One, just kind of like helping you as an individual through life up until this point, and kind of through med school. Like, what would you say are the biggest takeaways, and what advice would you give to the younger generation?
I want to go back on like the box thing.
Go ahead, go back on the box.
That really solidifies like mental toughness, I think, and obviously physical. So
which is totally a lesson you learned. So that fits.
The no rule thing. I mean, I really mean like kind of no rules. Like, I don't know. Do you know what slashing is? Like hockey, ice hockey slashing, and lacrosse slashing with the stick.
I only know slashing tires.
Oh, okay. So like, you know how like it's metal sticks.
Yeah.
And like you can just like whack someone, right?
Yeah.
But like there's a point where you do it so hard it's called a slash or whatever. Or if you hit them in the wrong spot, no fucking rules with that. You could I had people just haymakers, and like obviously you feel it eventually, but like a lot of us came prone to it, and then we just have all these bruises everywhere, like our
You would
entire body.
just hit each other with your sticks?
Well, yeah, because there's no rules.
Oh my
And then
heavens.
like sometimes it's just like someone hits you in the wrong spot, like maybe they hit you in the knee by accident. Like
Yeah.
obviously they're not trying to hurt you, but it's
Yeah.
like it's just a drill to like either release anger or just to build mental and physical toughness. So like everyone else is like, Jesus, these like people are fucking serious.
Yeah.
Like the other team just looks at us like, oh damn, we're kind of a little scared, you know?
Yeah, like we're
But
insane.
like that would cause a lot of fights. But it was a fun drill, I won't lie. It
Yeah.
just I remember I got hit one time in the knee and I like I got hit in the wrong spot and like that feeling like you want to throw up from all the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the worst, and I was just like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
That was
you're
the
like, this
worst.
is bad.
Yeah. So, what was the other question?
Oh, I just kind of, and this kind of plays into it, is like, what were kind of like the biggest takeaways and like lessons you learned from sports that you've been able to apply to your life thus far, and like what advice would you give to the younger generation
Okay.
that you feel like they're lacking?
There's a lot of lessons. I think just sports in general doesn't even have to be Division 1 or
Yeah,
college. It just teaches you good lessons. Like obviously hard work should go
yeah,
without saying. Um Determination,
yeah,
just like never giving up. So like there's so many times where I'm just like, dude, I fucking suck today. I want to give up. But then you just like push through or like you get hit, knocked down, get back up, stuff like that. Um Mental toughness, I think that has to go in and in. But like sacrifice is a big one. I think
yeah. And that's a unique perspective that I feel like you shared previously, and I think that's interesting.
yeah.
A lot of people don't say that.
I think you have to, the thing I learned is like you have to sacrifice short-term gratification for long-term reward.
Yes.
So like let's say for example, our goal was always to win like our conference championship each year, and then obviously we want to like go to the playoffs and stuff. But like
Yeah.
our number one goal is win the conference championship because if you win that, then you automatically go to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So like that's what we set out in the beginning of the year, and then it's like, well, like hey, like we can't like do fun stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, once in a while, like we'll go out and have fun, like
Yeah.
once or twice a month, right? Party, whatever,
For sure.
college, but like some people just don't have that.
Mm-mm.
So like the sacrificing the short term in the sense like, yeah, all of our friends are having fun, they're going on trips and stuff, and we have
Yeah.
to sit here like eat healthy, work our ass off, stuff like. But then like long term, when it came time to that, like we ended up winning our title our
Yeah.
first year, so it was like we saw it pay off. So it's like
Yeah.
having that sacrifice thing.
And that applies to so many areas of life. I mean,
Yeah,
heck, med school right now, like for sure.
yeah, like it's only 4 years of med school, but
Yeah.
like it feels like a lot longer. But like once you graduate, you'll always have like a good job.
Yes.
You want like even if you like you lose the job, right? You can always get it back.
Yeah.
It's not like
job security.
you can literally just go to like Georgia if you want to be like, okay, I'm a doctor. Like
Yeah.
you'll always have a job.
Yes.
So for that, and then time management was definitely big. That's a very
Yes.
big one. I think I was okay at it in high school, but I didn't get good at it until college, and then didn't get pretty damn good at it until med school.
Yeah.
It kind of like built. It was like a building block.
Yeah, I feel like your time management's good.
Yeah, time man. Obviously, some like I have lazy days here and there. Like everyone does, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember telling you it's like weird in the sense like I can like be 4 o'clock right now or something. Like I have this. I'll get home around 6. This, and then I'll
Yeah.
start studying at 7. And it's usually within 5 or 10 minutes.
You're
I'm
on
always
par.
on par. I'm like,
Yes.
wow,
Isn't that weird?
it's 6:55 and I'm about to start studying. I was
Yeah.
like, I literally said 7. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm
But
good
yeah.
at that too. It's weird. I think it's just like you get your reps in, like you're used to it. You know what it's going to be because you've done it for so long.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. So time management definitely big.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice definitely big. Obviously, hardworking should go without saying.
Yeah.
But I think those 3 are very big. I think that the younger generation could pick up on.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anyone's like bubble or anything, but
Yeah.
like I feel like a lot of people in our generation are lazy.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in our lower generation, the next generation, is also lazy.
Yeah.
And they feel like entitled, I guess.
Yes. There's a
I don't
very
know.
big sense of entitlement.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I always like looked at it as like they're it's like they have entitlement to like respect, but also like, oh, I'm entitled to this, you know what I mean? Or like entitled to that job. Like you gotta earn it.
Yes.
Like especially respect. Respect is earned.
100%.
Yeah. So it's like those are probably the big 3.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing a lot. There's so many, but
no, there is so many, but it's like it's good to
yeah,
be able to like focus on just a couple because it's like you can hone in on those things and really
yeah,
like go deep into those things. What would you say to like any kids that are like, because I totally experienced a lot of what you did. I didn't start volleyball until I was in like seventh or eighth grade. And so I was like very late for somebody who wanted to play in college too. So it's like,
uh-huh.
what's like some advice that you would give to kids who maybe like want to start a sport and they're
Mm-hmm.
at that age where they're like, oh, it's too late. Like, I shouldn't even try because all of these other kids are already so far ahead.
If you have passion for the sport, like for example, I had passion for lacrosse, you had passion for volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
like that's probably like the biggest thing because
Yeah.
if you have that passion, then you'll likely not burn out. Like, because if I was
Ooh,
playing
that's a good
if
point.
I was playing baseball still, I probably would burn out because I didn't enjoy it.
And that's a big thing. That's a big
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. So if you're like very passionate about something, you're motivated, like you actually enjoy doing it, like you will progress faster than
Yeah.
you'd think you could.
Do you think hard work beats talent?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's like Michael Jordan, right? Didn't he not make his like basketball team or something?
I don't know the exact story, but yeah, like he said, like if I didn't scared of failure too, like that's also another good trait is like you can't be scared to fail
Yeah.
because like think about every successful person you know, like whether it be athlete or not, they've failed
Yes.
hundreds and hundreds of times, but you
Yes.
learn good lessons, but then you also learn to not make that same mistake. But then it also
Yes.
helps you grow and then it helps you succeed. And then when you do succeed, it's more like enjoyable.
And
You know, you
rewarding.
have more rewarding and stuff like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
People are just they're so comfortable.
Yeah, I
They're
think
afraid to fail
yeah.
and they're afraid to win.
Yeah, but I also think it's like human nature to want that gratification right now. Like
Yes.
you have it on your phone all the time. Like I want this gratification, like whether it be
Yeah,
social
instant
media.
dopamine hit from social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, someone liked my photo just right now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
dopamine hit.
Yep.
Like they
Totally.
want that instant.
We're wired for it. Like we're
Yeah,
fed it by
yeah,
businesses. Like
yeah,
they wire you and they condition you to want something right now. Because again, you're a consumer. So
yeah,
if I can want something right now and get happy
yeah,
from it, I'm more likely to give you my money because I can get that thing right now because I want it right now. I'm
yeah,
not patient enough to wait for something to go on sale. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So I
I
think
mean,
that totally applies to so many areas of life of having that I think it comes down to discipline, right? Like having that
yeah,
ability to stay disciplined for that delayed gratification. You are just so much better off
yeah,
for the rest of your life, but people just have trouble seeing that.
yeah. The discipline thing is also big because it's like you have to have goals, and if you're not disciplined, you're not might not make those goals. But like if
Yeah.
you're disciplined, you're like, okay, like I want to get 1% better today than I was yesterday, and
Yes.
you're disciplined at it, and you're like keep going, keep going. Like
Yeah.
obviously take some breaks here and there, but
Of
like
course.
not like the break where people assume with give up.
Yeah.
It's just a break. Like hey, I need like some time to myself, like a
100%.
day or two
Yeah.
to recover. Like working out, like you can't just go like 30 days in a row. You
Yes.
could. I've done it. It's stupid, but you don't feel as good as if you take like 1 or 2 rest days here and there and then come back and then you're like hitting PRs now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even been shown people who
Yeah.
exercise like when you take breaks, you will end up improving because
Yeah.
of inflammation all these things, but yeah, no, I totally agree. And I feel like, I'm so glad that like we've been able to kind of chat about a lot of these things because again, we're here to like really inspire and help the up and coming generation.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because like just before this, I had a conversation with she's going to hate me. I had a conversation with my sister and she's about to turn 18
Mm-hmm.
and she goes, I want to be on your podcast. And I was like, okay, what do you have to contribute? Like,
Good
legitimately,
question.
I
Yeah.
sat there and I was like, I don't think she could contribute anything. And she literally goes, don't ever talk to me again. And I mean, she's joking, but she's also serious because I'm like, I'm sure
Yeah.
that triggered her or whatever. But she doesn't know, she doesn't stand firm in anything. Like she doesn't care about anything. Like she's
Yeah.
so afraid to have an opinion on anything because she wants to be liked by everybody.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I think the younger generation is so like that. They're like, it's almost like they want to be too accepting of
Yeah.
everyone and everything. And I'm like, you have no like foundation of anything. So it was just funny
Yeah.
because I was like, I can have you on a podcast and you can tell me firmly like what you care about, what motivates you, what you believe in, what your
Yeah.
foundation is, who you are. We would sit in this chair and she would, I don't think she could say anything. And it's like, that is the younger generation in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot like social media and stuff, and like media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like just the news in general. Like, honestly, if I have opinion of something, like, I'll hear other people's point of view, obviously.
Yeah.
I like to have, like, 3 points of view. Mine, try to be unbiased. It's hard when you're your own point of
100%
view.
though, that's good that you can do that.
The other person's point of view, like, whether it's, like, we're having a bicker man, I'm like, "Okay, let me see it from Eden's point of view."
Yeah.
And then, like, an outsider's point of view, like Ben, if he was in here watching right now, like,
Yeah.
what does he think and how
Yeah.
would he analyze it? And then I'm like, "Okay, which is, like, the good conclusion?" and stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's, like, something I still am working on. It's hard, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I always use an analogy like I like playing golf. If everyone's like golf is for pussies, like out of nowhere tomorrow, everyone says that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, cool. I still like playing golf.
See,
guess
and
I'm
I'm
a pussy
because you know who you are and you're not like that. And oh my gosh, I literally just listened to a podcast about that where this guy was like, words only hurt you to the extent that you already believe those things about yourself.
Yeah.
Like if I looked at you and I was like, Matt, your pink hair is so ugly. You'd be like, okay, I don't care because I don't have pink hair, right?
Mean, I did dye my beard pink, everyone. Just
you did do that. I do remember that actually. That's so funny that I used that analogy.
Yeah.
But it was just the point of like, if you say something to me and I know it's not true and I don't believe it, your words are not going to hurt me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's like such a good point is if you know who you are, you have a good foundation of who you are. What other people say is not going to have an impact on you.
Yeah, but you have to be open-minded too.
For sure.
Not closed-minded because I hate to say it, I don't like talking politics at all, but like you can have someone who's far left have the best idea for healthcare.
Yeah.
And then people on the far right are just going to deny it because there's like, oh, it came from a lefty. But if it came from them, they would say the same thing. But also vice versa. If you had a righty who said an idea about the best transportation system that we can make, that's everything.
For sure.
And it was like, even every party, everyone agreed with it. They're like, that is actually really smart. We should probably do that.
Exactly.
You'd have the other side be like, nah. It's just like immaturity at the end of the day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always looked at politics like these immature 14-year-old middle school kids who are technically like 60, 70, who just can't come to agreement because they can't put their differences aside.
Yeah. Well, and stuff like that. A difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Like 15, 16, 17-year-olds, like I think they have a lot of knowledge to a certain extent. Like they go on socials, they have access to the internet, they're learning so many things, but they don't have the time and age of wisdom.
Yeah, that's
true.
Of
like learning a lot of things. And I think that that's like super important to remember of like, you sometimes have to just humble yourself and be like, look, I may know a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that I have the best ideas for what would be like the best implementation for the country or whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
I was just using that example because I feel like that's the best one. It's just like someone who's very closed-minded, narrow-minded will think like that.
Yeah.
But someone who's open-minded is like, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat. Like if they're a cool person.
It's who they are, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or that's a great idea. Like I believe in that idea. I don't care if we have different beliefs, but like I agree with that idea.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been around too many like very closed-minded, narrow people, and it's like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, you can't even tell if like they're telling you the truth right now. Because like for me, I like people who are blunt. You know, I'm very fucking blunt.
So am I. Yeah.
But like, just like if I was like, hey, Eden, do you think I'm fat today? I want you to be completely honest. Be like, hey, you kind of are looking a little chunky today, or no, you're looking good. But like 95% of people be like, they would just lie, be like, no, you look great. Even if I was like 400 pounds, you know, they'd be like, nah, you look great. Don't worry. Don't let anyone like put you down. I was like, no one's putting me down. I just want to know because it's hard. Because it's hard for me to see because I see myself every day.
Yeah.
Or like something like that.
You're like, so I know if I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah. It's just totally. Like, I don't know. Someone who's honest and blunt. It's just like, always found that those types of people are like better friends, better like people to be around and to have like in the inner circle, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Because you can rely on them. They're more loyal. Like you don't have to worry about them stabbing you in the back.
Totally.
Or talking shit behind your back. Like, just stuff like that.
I would say that you're very much like that. And it's funny because one of our friends, Talia, tells me I'm like that all the time too. She's like, you're so blunt. I can never be like that. I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be blunt to like be a bitch by any means, but I'm just going to be honest because I think people appreciate that. And I think people deserve to hear the truth.
Yeah.
But aside from the fact that we got off on a long tangent of politics.
That's normal.
That's normal with Matt. He will always talk. But I think we've covered everything that I wanted to cover for today. There's some topics that I want to cover with you more in the future, but so that we don't go too long on this because we've talked everybody's ear off for a little bit too long now. I just want to say thank you for coming on and doing this interview with me.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, obviously.
Yay!
Yeah, I just was expecting some cookies or something. Like, god damn.
I literally
be a better hostess.
I brought you a piece of cake. You guys listen. It's a blueberry sour cream cake with a brown sugar crumble.
I'm cutting though, so.
Okay, you know what? You can be quiet. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We look forward to having you in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that. I don't even. What's the next conversation? Right? What is it?
Yeah, the next conversation. We're gonna dive into dating and
oh,
all the fun things. Hopefully, gonna get a Q&A going. I'm like so excited for that.
Oh, I have a lot to say about that.
Well, we look forward to it.
No, like a lot. So yeah.
Oh, I believe you. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. I've heard some of it already.
You don't even have to prep me. Like I'll go in cold blind.
We're ready.
I'm good. All right.
All right, episode 2 coming your way soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.